Alright. Peace. 13 love, 13 wisdom, 13 knowledge, 13 respect. Rise and fly, sexual active minds. I'm Ray Obey, son of Big Mama Mama, that's in the trees, made guys, made guineas, son of the Elohim, from the Moria, Mama's land. So, let's do something on the Matrix. And the first thing I'm going to say is that the Matrix is something that actually has nothing to do with computers, per se. It actually has to do with the mother, because the Matrix is Mayatrix. You know, showing you that this was like a school or a prison for some, a planet that was created to help develop or to see who would become a fallen. So, really, when you're looking at the Matrix is not the computer. Yes, the computer is a part of that, but the Matrix is not necessarily that. Actually, the Matrix would be all three. It'll be the computer, the real world, the so-called real world that they was living in, and it will be his dream state that Neo was having. Those were all matrices, and all of these things were like tied in together. It's the same thing on this planet Earth. You have the physical Earth, the mental Earth, and the spiritual Earth. Or you have your dream state, the reality, and then you have the actual spirit realm that you exist in. And they showed you that in the Matrix when they had him go through all his trials. Really, like him going through those trials, there was like those 3 stages. He was going 33rd and the third. He was really getting through those stages to become a true Mason, a true Mason, a true pyramid, a true lighthouse of the Most High Seas. That's what he was working towards. And so when they show you this, when he becomes the one, you know what I'm saying? You can look at the computer simulation as like artificial dream world, right? It's an artificial dream world. So once he became the one in there, and he started to notice that the only thing that was made up of was ones and zeros. But that's not the only thing that he realized. He realized that everything has a beginning, ending, a alpha and the omega essence, what it comes from, or has a basis of what his makeup is. You know what I'm saying? The makeup of that simulation was artificial. It was an artificial dream. And then the reality was another dream, because your dream state and this reality stay side by side each other. You see what I'm saying? So when he will have these dreams and these visions, that's how people have visions, is because the dream world and this world, this reality that we think is called real, are actually one and the same and are mere images of each other. So you can go so far and so deep into your dream state that you will actually pop out into this reality, and vice versa. You can go, and this is what you would call going through like portals, and going from the physical into that dream state. That's what you would call like going into a portal or hyperdimensional or dimensional shifts. That's what you're doing, and so that is activated through the mind. All this is working from the mind. That's why they say that the universe is the mind. So if the universe is the mind, then the real reality and the dream reality must be one and the same, because they all are coming from the mind of the Creator and the children of the Creator and the children's children and the children's children's children. But that's another story, and I ain't going to go that deep on you. So the Matrix, when he first reached that Because Neo was Christ. Neo was the one, but the one is the Christ. It's the 13th one. Because Neo was the one and Trinity was the three. So that was completion. That was the galactic male and the female linking up with the crown chakra, which is full illumination, full enlightenment, known as the 13th stage. This is known as the Christ level. See, the Yehudians, we were the specializers in the Christ level. The Muslims, they were too, but they more so taught about law and order. They were the soldiers. We were the high priests. And even within the Muslims, there's high priests too. But I'm saying that, like, if there were two schools, one school specializes in sports and the other one specializes in government. It's like that. It's like that. So the Yehudians, we were specializing in making high priests. That's what we specialize in, because we embody the completion of all the so-called religions. Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. We embodied all of them. And it's really Yehudianism and Islam as Muslims, not Muslims. It's really Yehudians and Muslims. Yehudians and Muslims. Not Christians, Muslims, and Jews. It's not that. It's really just Yehudians and Muslims. And these are representatives of the soldiers and the generals. But they're not over each other. Everybody just has a specific job that they're good at. And that is what it is. Because everything is dealing with law and order. Because the Most High, the Most High, it does deal with law and order. It has to be order for everything to run properly. So, I'm going to show you again. They show you that in the Matrix. When he went through the first stage, where he actually became the one, within the Matrix itself, he reached the 13th stage. But just like enlightenment, it continues. So when he had his second stage is when the revolution happened, and he actually began to take the same abilities that he had within the artificial dream world and activate it within a real dream world, which is reality. Once again, the dream world and the real world are coexisting. So if he's able to do it in the reality, he's also able to do it within the dream world, because he's also able to do it within the artificial dream world. Hopefully you guys are following what I'm saying. That was the second stage of him when he stopped the machine in the real world. The third stage is actually when he so-called dies. He don't die, actually. He's the third stage of enlightenment, where he leaves these, because really, if you really want to get into it, the dream world computers and this world have one thing in common, and that they're kind of all artificial, quote unquote, for lack of a better word, artificial. Or should I say, it's not really the real. The real is the spirit world that you go to, because that's where you came from. So when he passed, you seen that big light shoot out of him. That's Merkabah, full Merkabah activation. And he actually ascended. He actually didn't die. That's the whole thing about the little girl showing you the start over. He started it over. He was the reset. So he was the beginning of the new cycle. But like we heard from the architect, this is actually like the 7th or 8th time the Matrix has been created, but this time was different because he left this time. See, remember, he kept constantly reincarnating. They said it happened. They've stopped him several times. You see what I'm saying? But this time he got out. Now, really, that continues on. But that's a whole nother story, because they really give you some real deal shit that's going on in there too. That's really happening. But I'm going to leave it at that. 13 love, 13 wisdom, 13 knowledge, 13 respect. Rise up for high, stay true like the nines. I am royal obey. Son of big mama, nothing to rules, niggas, niggas, I'm out.